Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 3 versus 3 on 2 ways, and I'm going to be playing with the K.d.A. Bezirk Erfurt. This game was really fun, and it gives me an opportunity to show off this map, which I don't think I've showed off on the channel before. This is a 3 versus 3 version of 2 ways. It is an extremely volatile map, very hard to play. Mainly because of the elevation and also the amount of trees that are on the front line. So when you're playing 2 ways from this direction, which is the one you might recognize, you are usually fighting over the edges of the towns and all of this sort of cover in between. Whereas from this direction, you're fighting over all of these mountains and trees, which is difficult because it allows more experienced players to sneak units through the trees a lot of the time into your backline, harass your reinforcements, and then push you out of sectors on top of the hills and so on. So it can be very difficult. And at the start, the roads can lead you to very close engagements, which are again very volatile, and that can swing the game one way or the other very quickly early on. Anyway, we are off. Let's have a quick look at what I'm getting down. So we've got a couple of Spetznas OP here. We've got a couple of normal Spetznas crew. Onto the hill, we've got more Spetznas OP with the Spetznas. And I've also got an Mi-8T. Going to be not giving that one an order for a little while. Forgot to give it an order as I placed it down. Got a Flyer SFL moving through the town that's going to be moving up onto the hill. Helicopters are really good in this sort of environment, so having like the Flyer SFL there to take those down is really important. I've got an OSA AKM moving up on the left hand side with the T62, but the engagement's already underway on the left. I did lose one of my Spetznas OP as my opponent here, who's going to be playing the 11th French Para. They unloaded before I did, so I lost one of my squads. My Spetznas is going to be trying to provide cover with the Dragunov, and these Spetznas have moved off to the side so that we're not being engaged by these Puma pirates. Because these Puma pirates, they have 30 cows and can do a lot of damage over time. You can see they do have to show the side of their aircraft to get that autocannon on target. But he's going to be utilizing those to provide fire support with his infantry here to win this engagement. Meanwhile, my T62 is going to be moving forwards, trying to get some kills in here. I've also got my own helicopter coming over, the Mi-8, to help with this engagement. T62 takes out the AML-90 Lynx, good kill for us. But unfortunately, those autocannons doing a lot of damage. Oh, sorry, I thought it was a 30 mil. It's actually a 20 mil. The Mi-8 going to come under fire from those 20 mils. Going to have to fall back very quickly indeed. And my solution is that I can take out at least one of these 20 mils, and I can take out the recon with it. So I'm going to be bringing in a MiG-23, and that's going to be going for the Gazelle cannon. Now these can't really one-pass a Puma pirate, but they can one-pass a Gazelle. So going to be coming in there, killing that off, shooting it down. Now going to be trying to use the OSA here to take out the Puma pirates. Unfortunately, this was a little bit late to the party because of the forward deployment. And yeah, that's why these engagements can be so crazy. And we are dealing with a couple of the British forces up on the hill here. We've got the 2nd Infantry Airmobile that got dropped off in Lynxes. And we've also still got the French infantry from BBB. So trying to take care of all of this. This one unfortunately getting focused down and stunned. Not going to be able to run away quick enough. These Spetznas are going to be able to get their PKMs on target though and engage the Airmobile from a distance. But you can see that things have been very explosive at the start of this game. I lost pretty much all of my infantry on the left hand side. I've lost my T62 now as well. The hold is entirely reliant on this Mi-8. Thankfully my opponent didn't bring up any Mistrals early on, because that would have been a problem. A couple of VLRAs trying to escape and sell themselves so that he can bring in some more forces. My Mi-8's not going to let that happen. Gets the rockets and the miniguns on target. Takes out both of those. Now going to be moving it up onto the hill here to engage some of this infantry and try and get myself a little bit of an advantage on the hill. Because helicopters in this scenario, the reason they're so good is because of the elevation, which blocks man pads, it blocks radar AA, all that good stuff that would usually shoot you down. Like on the left-hand side here, you can see the OSA had no problem killing the Pumas, but up on this hill, you'd have like trouble getting line of sight due to all the trees and stuff. My Mi-8 here, flying over to go help, does bump into a couple of Legionnaire Para, which is unfortunate. Now I'm going to be bringing in some K.d.A Schützen. So K.d.A Schützen are really cheap infantry. They're 45 points. They come in with a 20-point transport, which is pretty useful for engaging at range against enemy infantry. But let's watch the MiG-25 RBF. This is such a beautiful aircraft. Going to be dropping its payload towards the position of those Legionnaires. And manages to get out unscathed, so that was really nice. Just going to be moving the Mi-8 over to check the damage. Unfortunately, I missed the majority of those bombs, so only a little bit of damage done to one of the Legionnaires. And my Spetznas here are going to have to be really careful, because BVB, what he's doing is he's coming through here. He's going to try and cut off my reinforcing roads so that he can continue to put pressure up on the hill and capture this sector, which they've managed to do so far. So currently 900 points ahead for our opponents, because we haven't captured the mid sectors or anything yet. That was unfortunate. I'm trying to get my Spetznas Komroti here up onto the hill to contest this. I do have infantry in position here, which is good. But you can see that the helicopters are forcing me deeper into the tree line. I'm trying to get the Flat SFL into line of sight as well. But what I have managed to do is get the Spetznas OP with the RPG-29 through to the reinforcing road, which is really important because it allows me to kill their transports in one shot. My helicopter, unfortunately taken out. A Pamela was hiding in there and manages to get a lot of damage done. Now my K.d.A Schützen going to be trying to overwhelm the Chateau Para and Sapper Para. Because I have a lot of numbers here, we get a lot of guns on target. It's going to cause their cohesion to get low. My cohesion's getting very low because my troops are reserves. So I am going to need military police in order to make them more sturdy. And the military police with K.d.A Schützen, what they do is they remove the reservist trait, so we don't take suppression as easy. And then the other nice thing about military police is they help you recover from suppression faster. But in this case, my SBW 152 is just going to be rushing up the road. I was hoping to capture or kill the logistics trucks that we saw, but unfortunately wasn't able to capitalize. SPG 9s are getting into position. SPG 9s are really good against the 11th in this situation because the 11th doesn't really have much armor, and so I'm able to just kill everything with recoilless rifles that they might have. So Gazelle going to be trying to find my Spetznas. Another kill here. MiG-23 takes down the Gazelle Celtic. Gazelle Celtic does have air-to-air missiles, so could have hit my MiG-23, but because my MiG-23 is nice and fast, it manages to get in there quickly enough. Now my K.d.A Schützen going to be having a bad time. You can see that I'm moving these ones back on purpose because I have bumped into a couple of Legionnaire Para. So I'm allowing this one just to hold them in position while the other ones fall back because these are lacking cohesion. So they're moving very, very slowly. Got a couple of extra troops on the way though, and I'm also going to be bringing up the Pioneers with the flamethrowers. And you can see the military police there on the way. So I'm trying to get rid of these Legionnaire Para because I think he spotted my Spetznas Komroti and he's trying to hunt it down. Also, I still need to get rid of the Legionnaire here just in general because they are cutting off my spawn road. So I'm going to be bringing up an Mi-24P to assist my troops in taking care of this infantry. And this is another reason that this sort of engagement is very difficult at the moment, because infantry time to kill between like just infantry is actually quite slow. So if your opponent gets really like deep into your forest like early on, then you're going to take a long time to push them out again. And you see like my flamethrowers here with their, even with their AK-74s and PKMs on target, are having a hard time killing the Legionnaire Para. MiG-29s there coming in, taking out enemy aircraft. Unfortunately, one of them gets shot down. There is the Pamela up on the ridge here that I've got to get rid of at some point, because it has moved all the way over. But at the moment, currently building up a huge mass of K.d.A ships and using my reserve forces, my fodder, to just try and take out as many of the elite forces of the French as possible. These pioneers are still going to run and try and chase down all of the legionnaires, because the legionnaires can deal with that relatively well. Or sorry, not the legionnaires, the pioneers can deal with the legionnaires pretty well with the flamethrower, because the legionnaires don't have any like specialized close range. They do have good veterancy and decent weapons, but yeah. In this case, use the Spetznas comrade with the RPG-26 to take out the Pamela. And now the MiG-23 coming in with a strafing run onto the Puma Pirate. Not able to get the job done just yet, and flies right over AA. Gonna be crashing somewhere over there. So now even more superior numbers. The K.d.A Schützen completely overwhelming the Sapperpada. This is the beauty of the K.d.A Schützen. Got to be careful though of enemy bombers. So enemy Jaguar coming in is gonna take shots from the Osa. Unfortunately unable to take it out. And it is going to get away. He was trying to snipe my command there, I believe, but my UAZ was sitting comfortably in the corner of this tree line. So Sapperpada versus Pioneers with the flamethrower. A K.d.A meanwhile chasing down another Sapperpada, and the Spetznas going to help deal with the recon here. So it's just a matter of trying to clean up all of this infantry that we're seeing all the time. My Spetznas getting the Dragunov on target are actually going to shoot down the enemy Puma Pirate, so that was really, really cool. Here we go, flamethrower being used to clean up the Legionnaire Para. But now two more Legionnaire Para pushing through deep into our lines. But I am managing to contest this now thanks to the Spetznas comrade. We have our middle sectors sorted. Lejus has managed to push through here quite substantially. I think because the British player put some units up here, it actually caused him to lose out in the mid early on. Also, Lejus just did a great job. Nice Mirage 5 bombing strike there, does hit my Spetznas, but I'm going to be replying with a bombing strike onto the Legionnaire Para. I've also got the Mi-24P now coming up to get some rockets, and it's 30 mil, sorry, on target. So it has the big 30 mil on the side there. And that's going to be able to make short work of those Legionnaires. Yeah, a bit unfortunate I lost my leader, but it's okay. We have good positioning here with our infantry, and we're continuing to put the pressure onto the Sapperpada and the Sapperpada. K.d.A Schützen, every time they're getting low, I'm bringing them back to a supply vehicle, getting them fixed up, going to push them back forwards again soon after. Military police now in position to help out. Now make sure that my men have discipline and are no longer classed as reserve troops. The Mi-24 going to be creeping up. Let's try and support this push. And you can see that in general the Mi-24P relatively safe. Going to be a bit careful here, but the VLRA there, the Pamela with the Mistral on it, are not able to get line of sight. And you can see that this is the beauty of this terrain for a helicopter. In this situation, having the SPW-152 to help kill the Sapperpada, really, really useful. Flat SFL is on the way. Got to be a bit careful though, because that does have double APLS and make short work of the flat SFL. The Sapperpada are dead, and they didn't kill my flamethrower squad, so now the Glippe Antichar going to be having a hard time, and the ERC 90 Sages, I'm just going to have to use the K.d.A Schützen's RPGs to deal with them. I've got more K.d.A Schützen on the way. We've got the SPETZNAZ coming in. And what was really kind of interesting about this game is, you can see I do have these Malkers. And I did bring in the Malkers purposefully, or like I brought in the Felddepot purposefully because I was like, I'm going to use the Malkers a lot this game. That was like my plan going in. But admittedly, it probably wasn't the best idea. This map doesn't really suit long-range artillery very well because of minimum range. It's because it's so little distance from one side of the map to the other. The Malkers aren't that useful in this situation. They can obviously be very accurate. But the other thing is, you don't really have many obvious targets. So, in this case, like maybe I could be like instantly targeting the ERC 90 Sages to engage those, but I was reliant on the RPG-7s, and they're probably more reliable. Over here, you know, we can't see anything in the trees until we actually engage it, so unless I'm like really on the ball with the Malkers, they're just not that useful. In this case, I'm actually going to be targeting the enemy mortars to try and kill those off, because they were harassing my infantry as I'm pushing forwards, and I wanted that to stop. Mi-24P. You can see it's like hovering really low. And if anything comes over the ridge here, even AA itself, it will get hammered by the rockets and the main gun of that Mi-24 very quickly. So Mi-24s in this situation really nice. The other thing is, because they're low here, enemy fighters are going to have a hard time killing them. Now we have another big engagement. We've got two SAS snipers and the Legionnaire Para engaging all of my K.d.A Schützen. The K.d.A Schützen routing there as they come under fire, but these ones holding a little bit better because they were supervised by the military police. We've got a couple of T-62s here. One's gonna kill the AML-90 Lynx. AML-90 Lynx is a pretty good unit in a sense that it can kill. It can flank very well and kill lots of like support units like the AA and stuff. But in general will otherwise struggle. In this case, Milan, I'm going to pop my T-62 M1 with one shot. I'm just attack moving forwards to try and kill it. In this case, missed that shot, so I have to pop the smoke. We're going to drive through the smoke and take another couple of shots. We can use this as makeshift cover, just to fall back if needs be. Make sure that HGM doesn't hit the mark. Right, here we go again. The K.d.A Schützen engaging the enemy military police. So you can see even my opponent here using military police for his elite forces, just for that bonus to suppression recovery, or cohesion recovery. But now the Puma Pirate coming in with that 20mm fire, going to force me to fall back from that engagement, because that 20mm over time will do a lot of damage. See the Pamela here is trying to sneak up, but couldn't get close due to the infantry. Now looking to kill off the ERC, managed to kill that with the RPG. Gonna want to take out the Mistral. We're slowly but surely cleaning out our opponent's forces, and we're getting good value all the way. It is the beauty of the K.d.A. And that all of these squads, they have so many men that I can just outnumber them and kill them, and then fall back and just replenish them. T-62s on the left, currently falling back. Do kill off the sniper SAS though. Meanwhile on the hill, we are being flanked, but my Mi-2 is going to spot that, and we're going to be taking out both Chasseur-Para and Sapeur-Para. Now Lejus bringing up some Mi-8s with Desaniki to help control the hill. Because my opponent here, BVB, has now arrived with more infantry. My artillery going to be getting on target, taking some shots. And my 24 is going to be shifting over to try and get some hits onto the sapper here. It really does take a long time for this 30mm to aim, but when it gets on target, it does do a decent amount of damage. And now we're being pushed quite heavily by the ERC-90 Sages, and this is where the SPG-9s are really, really good. Because it fires relatively quickly, and it's one-shot kill. Also the Spetznas there, getting the job done. I did capture my UAZ. I don't know if they ended up spotting my UAZ here. But yeah, it's just chilling. Still hidden. Very nice indeed. My MiG-25 RBF coming in again. Looking for a bombing strike. And my 24 gets shot at by the Mistral. I did manage to reload already, but managed to get the kill, so that's good. But we're relatively stable. My Spetznas, as long as this K.d.A Schützen's here, those Spetznas are fine. I've got these two units here that are kind of covering off the side of my road, just in case more infantry comes through. Here comes the bombing strike. Right down the tree line. Beautiful stuff. Not sure what happened to the last few bombs there. But a nice bombing strike nonetheless. Going to help force off a lot of that infantry. And the machine gun, going to try and push up a little bit, try and reveal my command. I'm meanwhile going back with the Mi-24 to get that reloaded. And we're currently holding on. I was floating quite a lot of points at this point. The main reason being is because I don't want to basically spam too much infantry, otherwise I'm just going to run out. And I feel like that's what my opponent's done at this point, because we're currently just dealing with like the remainder of his Sapper Para, Legionnaire Para, the Perverté, and so on. But I've still got tons of K.d.A Schützen left, so I'm going to be bringing more of those in. I've got a couple of military police following up the K.d.A. We got a load of T-55s now on the way, because that's what I decided to invest the majority of my points into. And the plan was to pretty much make a bulldozer push through the left side and fully secure this sector. Because using them up on this hill would be kind of difficult due to the way that the terrain is, because it's very like uneven. And therefore, things like the Emmerbill with their lower 80s and the Legionnaire Para or Gruppe with the Appellas, I'm going to just one-shot every T-55. So we want to be playing sort of close range, but not too close range that the AT weapons can just keep killing us. So T-62's trying their best right now. Not doing too great. Jaguar rocket strike comes in, takes out one of my T-62s. Not too concerned about that because of all of the T-55s that I've got coming up. But this Osa was an absolute hero this game, it really, really was. But I was making sure to move it after every use. Buster plane coming in. I was thinking that this was going to be coming in for my T-55s, but it wasn't in the end, and the Osa's going to shoot that one down as well. You saw my Mi-24 go down here. There's a couple of Mistrals up on the hill that managed to find line of sight. Took it down very, very quickly indeed. Currently on the match, we are at a +4 still, because Fox has managed to completely secure the right sector for quite a while. We've been contesting up on this hill, and we've continuously held the mid. They're just now being pushed back a little bit, but I'm going to now have a chance to push forwards on the left anyway. I'm just moving to the right temporarily, diving for the cover here, because I noticed that my Osa was out of ammunition, and the enemy had Gazelle Hot 2s. These Hot 2s will one-shot every tank that I have, so I wanted to make sure that I had the OSA ready to go before I moved forwards with the T-55s. So now that OSA is reloaded, we're going to be able to rush that forwards and try and engage any of these helicopters. First of all, spot the one that's up the road, take that out, look for the second, find that kill as well. My OSA being very, very reliable this game. It was actually really nice to see. But now we're down to a +2, as the right side does get contested once again. I'm currently just defending my command here, making sure that's not going down, creating little concentrations of forces so that my infantry does not get overwhelmed. Meanwhile, T813 coming in to top off the K.d.A Schützen squads here. And off we go, down the left side of the map. Take the Legionnaire Para kill. Nothing. I think my opponent was using some supply. We saw the VLRA supplies early on to resupply his infantry, but there was a bunch of times where I thought, you know, he was suiciding infantry when he didn't need to. Or Mistral Para gets found. On the right hand side, the ERCs coming through the tree line. Going to be bumping into all of my K.d.A Schützen, which do have their RPGs. Bumping into Legionnaire Para. Those Legionnaire Para are pretty bad news for us because of the Appellas. Does manage to kill off a couple of units. The RCs get taken care of. We are being put under pressure here by the Chasseur Para. But here comes my MiG-25 RBF once again. Mirage 5 does come in with the bombing strike. Takes my K.d.As down pretty low. You can see the T-55s are making good progress on the left-hand side. Another MiG-25 bombing strike coming in. Beautiful stuff. A little bit of friendly fire, but it's okay. Now this is a good Panzerschar, and you can see how many T-55s I just lost trying to push there. But with these T-55s making a breakthrough on the far left, my SBW 152Ks are pretty happy to just charge forwards. And we're just going to be looking now for the enemy command. We are going to spot it in the corner of the sector there. Still a +2 for our team regardless. My Spetznas have been forced back a little bit here. I would need to reinforce that potentially. Nice cluster strike. Actually hits pretty much all of my T-55. Doesn't kill one of them, but we forced back the P4 PC that was counter-capping. That's going to push it to a +4. That's going to be the end of the game. Was being countered here on the backside a little bit, but the SPG-9 was doing a decent job, and I could have always brought in some units to deal with that. But in the end, 5,572 kills, 3,745 losses. And what I found really interesting about this game is it doesn't look like there was ever that many troops on the field, but a lot of that comes from the helicopter play. And you can see that my opponent here, BBB, he was using the 11th Paras helicopters a lot. The Puma Pirates, the Gazelles, and also was trying to use aircraft. The aircraft obviously not working out as much. This was the Spetznas OP, I believe, that got behind their lines. You can see how much value it got, killing all of these units in their transports. And that's the beauty of this map, is like it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. In a sense, it's very difficult to play because your opponents are always trying to constantly flank you. And if you manage to flank your opponent, it can pay off a lot. But if you get flanked yourself, it's like really frustrating to deal with. So it's like kind of a tough thing to deal with for sure. MiG-25 did get some near bombing strikes in. The Mi-24, of course, did very well until it got taken out by the Mistrals. The Mistrals in this situation are probably the best thing that my opponent could have had for dealing with the helicopters. Not just the VLRA Pamalas. This is a bit risky, honestly, because they can get killed by infantry very quickly. But the two-man Mistral squads, spreading them out throughout the forests would have been a really easy way to shoot down a lot of the helicopters that I was trying to use. And he did eventually do that. But the T-62s pushing through on the left-hand side did okay, and then the T-55 follow-up just broke the camel's back, really, and would have allowed us to control that left side sector for a very long time, because my opponent was focusing so much on trying to get the flank in with the ERC-90s and the Legionnaires for the entire game. We kept blunting that, so it was okay. The Malkas, not worth it at all. I shouldn't have really brought them in. That map was definitely not suited to it, but there we go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.